Thank you for joining me today to learn about Western Digital's perspectives on Flash, the Flash market, the Flash industry, and Flash technology. The theme of our event is perspectives, because we believe Western Digital has the big picture view of storage, the big picture view of technology, and I'm looking forward to sharing that with you today. But first, I'd like to start with a story. About a year ago, LinkedIn popped up notifying me that David Geckler had taken over as CEO of Western Digital. I was pretty surprised. David had a big job. I knew him well, former colleagues, but didn't think much of it. Then, just a few months later, my phone rang, and it was David. And he was asking me if I wanted to get involved at Western Digital and specifically around the Flash business. At the time, I wasn't sure. I told him I need to do a little research. And what I found got me super excited about WD and excited about the Flash business. And I'd like to share it with you. Let's start with this statistic, which is just amazing. Over 40% of the bits in the world are stored on Western Digital. That's just an astounding number. Think about it. Your kid's TikTok, your tax return, that Netflix streaming video, the content on your mobile device, your laptop, your desktop. It's really an amazing statistic and gives you an idea of Western Digital's sort of relevance in the world and our position in the world. And it's led to us being the market leader in storage, provide more capacity to the storage market than any other vendor, which is an amazing place to be given the role of information and data in the world today. And Western Digital is unique in that we see the whole big picture. The only vendor that has both a hard drive business and a Flash business. That puts us in a great position. We can meet the market wherever it is. We can serve our customers with both hard drives and Flash. We can see the entire market. And we have the ability to flexibly and agilely move across the technology landscape. Now, the other thing I needed to know before coming to WD was that both the Flash market and the HDD market are good, healthy, growing markets. And for that, we need to rewind the clock a bit. If we go back to 2000, when Flash sort of burst onto the scene, Flash and HDD served pretty different applications. No one was going to put a hard drive in your mobile phone. And of course, Flash blew up with the mobile phone, the smartphone revolution. But by 2015, what you saw is these markets really came together. We saw workloads moving back and forth, some confusion about what technology is right for what application. But now we're past that. These markets have bifurcated. Now both Flash and HDD are large-scale markets serving unique opportunities. Flash, of course, optimized for speed, for form factor, for powering all these new and interesting devices and platforms. Meanwhile, hard drives, where else are you going to store the world's information? And just the scale and the capacity of data that's created every day. So two strong growth markets inside one company. It's a great story, and I was comfortable committing to Dave. And here I am 6 months later, leading the Flash business. So now let's start to double click on Flash and Flash technology, and why we're so excited about the prospects for Flash. If you think about it, Flash is powering virtually every interesting hardware, systems, and platform innovation in the market today. Doesn't matter what kind of device it is, what kind of platform, it's got Flash inside it. Flash is literally powering the future. I'd like to share with you a couple of those applications and why we're so excited about the growth potential they're implied by them. And let's just start with mobile. And this requires us to go back to the introduction of the smartphone. Those first smartphones, that 8 gigabyte smartphone back in the mid-2000s, opened us all to the content and the richness and the media and everything we could do. Let's fast forward to today. Now we're seeing the 1 terabyte smartphone. It's truly astounding. And it's amazing the capabilities in the palm of our hand. And we have 4 billion smartphones around the world. Just think about those numbers for a minute. But it's not just about the mobile phone. We're seeing this kind of explosion of creativity and new applications all over the market. Let's take connected cars and auto tech. We're forecasting the capacity growth in connected cars from 3 exabytes to 77 exabytes over the next 5 to 6 years. Whether it's the core automotive systems, entertainment, autonomous vehicles, just amazing what's happening in this space. And it's not just connected cars, it's a wide variety of IoT, industrial, consumer technologies, just innovation everywhere we see. Turning to client for a moment. In client compute, we're in the middle of a mega trend. Work from home, the hybrid workplace is reinvigorated, the home compute market, then driving the notebook market. Between IDC and Gartner forecasting between 300 and 350 million units this year, nearly 1 billion compute units out there in use. Just staggering numbers. And of course, we all know the devices that we use every day. They're getting smaller, they're getting faster, they're getting more powerful. And every single one of these devices is consuming and powered by flash. An exciting part of the client compute market today is gaming. And gaming alone going from 14 to 13 exabytes. And that's basically out of nowhere, just a couple of years off of shifting off of hard drives. And the experiences and the capabilities that are provided to the gaming market are just awesome. Now, the largest marketplace we serve is the cloud and data center market. And just think about all those applications. Seems like every application today in the data center is a data application, whether it's streaming, rich media, big data, social content. You can see the CAGR numbers, just skyrocketing data growth. And data is really rising and ascended in the cloud. And of course, compute isn't just in the data center and cloud anymore. Compute's out at the edge. In fact, edge computing is growing at 64%, driven by the 5G rollout. And this is just an awesome application of flash and flash SSDs with the ruggedization and the power capabilities. Finally, let's turn to the hottest topic in the market today, which is crypto. A lot of the focus in crypto is around Bitcoin, which uses a proof of work of the underlying technology to place items on the blockchain. Now we're seeing multiple providers come in and focus on proof of space as a way to enforce items on the blockchain. One of the leading companies has been Chia, making a lot of noise lately. If you look at what Chia does, in the Chia process, there's a notion of plotting and a notion of farming. This fits our portfolio extremely well in that the plotting uses SSDs and farming uses HDDs. In fact, for those of you in the channel, you know this business is growing really fast, 0 to 5 exabytes in just 2 months. And it's a great example of what happens when an innovation bursts on the scene. We don't know what the future holds, but when it comes, these applications can grow fast, they can grow rapidly, they consume technology, and they lead to new avenues of innovation. So let's sum that up. Flash applications are growing rapidly. Innovation is appearing on the scene every day. New applications are occurring. What's that doing to the flash market? It's driving explosive growth. What was barely relevant in 2000 with a petabyte capacity became, in 2007, an exabyte of capacity, 1,000x growth. The staggering stat is we now are having another 1,000x growth to 2025, a zettabyte, which is 1 billion terabytes. It's just an amazing, amazing, explosive growth in this industry. So now let me shift gears to talk a little bit about flash technology at Western Digital. And flash technology at Western Digital starts with our partnership with Kioxia. Between WD and Kioxia, we're the scale producer, 34.9% of the market, almost 35% of the market. And we're the scale producer literally as well, not just in a share perspective. And then we built the largest gigafab in the world. And this gives us tremendous economies. As we move from nodal transitions, as we reuse our infrastructure, we have the ability to build flash at a scale never seen before. $18 billion in joint R&D spending over 15 generations has led to tremendous technology leadership. In fact, all of our competitors in this industry license our technology from us, really reflecting the core contributions to NAND technology and flash technology from innovators from Western Digital and Kioxia. It's a great story. Our strategy is unique. You'll hear a lot of conversation in the marketplace about the number of layers and the generation of NAND. With the Flash Ventures, our strategy has been focused on what our customers care about. They care about bit density, which drives capacity. They care about the performance and features, and they care about cost, so they can deliver all this wonderful devices and capabilities at the right price point. We achieve that through awesome engineering and focus on things like lateral scaling so we can get advantage of the semiconductor, Moore's law type of growth. That's resulted in higher capital efficiency, higher density, and a higher performance NAND than any competitor in the marketplace. But it's not just the NAND itself. I said we see the big picture. One way you can think about that is in our exposure to the marketplace. Consumer assets like SanDisk, Western Digital, the WD brands, facing a wide variety of consumers and prosumers and professionals, and our enterprise segments, playing across all the key consumers of flash in the marketplace today. That gives us broad perspective. But what do we do with that perspective? We're a full stack development company. It's not just the NAND, but it's the ASICs, it's the firmware, it's the software, it's the features, it's the packaging, it's the physical infrastructure, it's all the things we do to optimize and configure those solutions for each of those market segments. So ultimately, what does that flash big picture look like? We have an investment in the underlying NAND technology. We actually optimize that NAND for different applications and use cases. And then we build custom solutions and unique solutions to serve each and every one of these marketplaces with the optimal solution to unleash innovation. So let's turn from that flash big picture to the topic of partnerships and innovation and how we drive innovation in the marketplace. At WD, we're focusing on innovation in NAND and innovation in the storage stack. But it's your innovation in your end markets, you as a consumer, you as a user, that's important. And so for us, innovation is inherently about our partnership. How do we get our engineers to work with your engineers to deliver better solutions overall for the marketplace? What are we doing in that process? We're optimizing that storage stack for each of these applications. That optimization could be size, scale, speed, performance, power, software services, capabilities. How do we deliver the right solution for the right application for the right marketplace? And that's the fruits of our collaboration as we work together. At WD, we serve 4 major market segments: content solutions, data center and cloud, automotive, mobile embedded, and client computing. And with each of these segments, our strategy is the same. We identify the leaders, partner with those leaders, and deliver innovative solutions. And I'd like to touch on just a few examples and share with you both recent examples of WD innovation and make some product announcements today. Let's start with content solutions. Now, if we were on stage at Moscone today and I asked you to raise your hand if you had a SanDisk product, I'm sure every single one of you would raise your hand. But these products are used not just by consumers like us, but also by prosumers and professionals. In fact, one of the challenges that their customers have brought us in the content solution space was securing creative content. Think of the extreme case, movie studio creating a $200 million movie. Now they got to transmit and distribute that, take that movie, show it to a producer. How do they do that in a secure, reliable way? Well, that is what we targeted our ArmorLock technology. This past year, we announced ArmorLock. ArmorLock is ruggedized, high-performance, secure external SSD. We brought enterprise-grade security with consumer level of ease of use. Simply lock and unlock with your phone. It's a great example of how we can cater to the specific needs and the use cases of our customers. Today, I'm pleased to announce a new brand focusing at just those same professionals. SanDisk Professional. SanDisk Professional is a brand as well as a product strategy focused on a wide range of content creators. Not just that movie studio, but a range of audio, video, digital media, all types of content creators in this content-driven world that we live in. With SanDisk Professional, we're recognizing that they have not just a security problem, but if you think about the workflow of content creation, from acquisition to storage to manipulation to archive to distribution, it's a bit of a mess. Many different technologies, many different individual applications and needs. With SanDisk Professional, we're pulling all that together so we can smoothly manage storage from content creation through manipulation all the way out to distribution and archive. We're announcing new products today you can read about in the press release, but there's going to be more to come in this space as we really delve into optimizing the world for our professionals. Now let's move to data center. Data center and cloud has been a huge consumer of flash, and that market is changing very rapidly. We're seeing new storage tiers emerge. We have the flash and HDD tier, but now within flash we have high performance for compute, we have boot drives, we have capacity flash, we have single ported for cloud, we have dual ported for the enterprise. So we're seeing a massive proliferation of the hardware form factors. But now if you think about what an SSD is, an SSD brings flash together and it's designed to emulate a block storage device. But underneath that device, the NAND itself is actually kind of a strange device. It doesn't behave like a hard drive. It has its own unique patterns. And if you can optimize that NAND for applications, understanding those unique patterns, you can unleash tremendous gains and drive tremendous efficiency in your cloud, in your data center environment. Well, that's exactly the area of innovation we're focused on today. In fact, today I'm pleased to announce a collaboration around MySQL with Percona, a leader in SaaS and service solutions for MySQL. So what have we done with Percona? Well, we've taken our zone namespace drive, ZNS drive, and that drive exposes the innards of the NAND infrastructure for max speed, scale, and performance. Then working with Percona, we've optimized the software stack to enable MySQL to take advantage of that speed, scale, and performance and deliver up to 3 times higher transactions per second. That is an amazing speed boost. And we're talking about saving money not just on storage here, but on compute capacity, on cloud capacity, on your entire infrastructure. We're really pleased with this collaboration with Percona. And to tell you a little more about it, I'd like to go to this video with Wim, one of our key innovators, and to talk about the partnership.
Thank you, Rob, for this opportunity to announce our partnership with Percona. Many of our customers are using MySQL as a database for their online services. Those databases now typically run on NVMe SSDs to meet the performance requirements of cloud scale, e-commerce, IoT, and other services. For those demanding environments, Western Digital introduced the first generation zone namespace SSD, namely the UltraStar Data Center ZN540 NVMe ZNS SSD. Our tests indicate that MySQL server running on a zone namespace SSD can perform up to 3 times more transactions per second compared to a server running on a conventional SSD. And these transactions complete in shorter and more predictable time, making those cloud services more responsive. Our UltraStar Zone Namespace SSD has up to 25% higher density and can endure 3.5 drive writes a day, making it a more robust device in highly transactional workloads. Zone namespaces is an NVMe standard, and Western Digital has contributed the necessary software components to the Linux and MySQL open source communities to make the total software stack freely available. I'm excited to announce our partnership with Percona today. MySQL users will be able to install the Percona server for MySQL and get out-of-the-box support for the Western Digital Zone Namespace SSD. Furthermore, Percona will offer enterprise-class software support, performance tuning, and consulting services for mission-critical environments. This demonstrates Western Digital's commitment to deliver innovative data center infrastructure products and leverage partnerships to make those easy to implement by our customers. Thank you, and back to you, Rob.
I want to extend my congratulations to Wim and his team for their great work in exploring this new application of ZNS and this partnership with Percona. I'm looking forward to great things. So now let's turn to automotive, mobile, and embedded. And I'd actually like to double click on auto tech for a moment, because auto tech has been an area of rapid innovation and generational change. Just a couple of years ago, automakers were using essentially long-tail industrial components, commodity components in their vehicles. Now we've seen a leap forward with a wide range of applications inside the car using fully modern embedded platforms. In fact, we have line of sight from here to that auto becoming a rolling data center, a part of the edge compute infrastructure. We're happy to be able to partner with a wide variety of both auto manufacturers as well as suppliers to the auto industry to drive innovation in auto tech. To hear more about one of those partnerships, I'd like to go to a video with Matthew Munn, VP and MD of the Auto OEM Group at Garmin, one of our longtime partners in this space.
Welcome to Western Digital Flash Perspective event. My name is Hubert Verhoeven. I'm responsible for Western Digital automotive business. And I'm here with Matt Munn, who is at Garmin responsible on their side for automotive. Matt and I would like to have a short discussion. Matt, thanks for joining us specifically on automotive and both our companies. So first of all, if you can start off, obviously everybody knows Garmin as the leader in personal navigation devices, but much broader than that also in fitness. Can you talk a little bit more about Garmin in the sense of automotive?
Garmin began as an innovative provider of advanced avionics electronics. Today, we provide anything from a complete safety critical cockpit solution for an airplane enabled with fully autonomous landing technology for aircraft to advanced biometrics and solar technology and wearables. So very, very diverse. And that technology diversity is in fact a valuable asset that we intend to leverage and is the basis of what me and my team leverage going into the OEM market specifically.
Yeah, and that's great to hear. And I think we see things the same, right? The innovation in automotive, especially in cockpit, is accelerating. Can you talk a little bit more on how you see storage and specifically flash storage in your product and how you see that evolve?
Entertainment in particular, that functionality continues to expand in both front and rear seat applications. You're seeing, used to see it in maybe concept vehicles, now you're seeing it in reality, cars with multiple screens, high resolution movies, gaming applications are quickly becoming the norm. So that's going to increase the needs for flash storage. In addition to autonomous vehicle applications, will create more relevance and application of high performance flash storage. So I think that's a big area for us to work together and develop specific automotive OEM applications.
Yeah, and I think you touched on the working together, right? We have probably 2 decades of working together between Western Digital and Garmin at this point. Can you comment a little bit on the value that collaboration is bringing from your perspective, if you talk about the product certainly, but also how we look together at the design reviews and making sure that we meet eventually the end customer's needs?
Great support from Western Digital for more than 20 years. And I think our deep technical competence allows us to partner with technology leaders like Western Digital to develop very specific applications for high speed, high performance, high capacity, highly reliable memory solutions for future vehicles. In fact, I think maybe a good example is our next generation computing platform that will soon launch with BMW. We will be utilizing a new flash interface. And then we engaged very early in the process, in the design process to define and develop the specific needs and requirements for this automotive grade memory application. Those are critical for the OEMs as they look at making sure that they have long-term reliability for their customers.
Yeah, and I think Matt, that collaboration is so important, and I think it will become even more important as all these applications in the car start to expand even further, right? So I would really like to thank you for joining us, and I'm looking forward to the road ahead. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for allowing me to share some comments today about our collaboration, and I greatly appreciate your support and look forward to our continued success.
Matt, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I want to thank Matthew for this wonderful collaboration between Western Digital and Garmin as we advance the whole automotive industry. Now today, I'm pleased to announce a brand new UFS 3.1 platform that really will extend that collaboration. This is the new platform for automotive, mobile, and embedded applications. It features a 25% performance gain over the leading industry platforms that are out there today. So really unleashing new capabilities of scale and performance. And it's a platform that allows us to develop unique capabilities for each one of these markets. You can learn more about the UFS 3.1 in today's press release. Now let me turn to client computing innovation. Now, as users, we all know what we want out of our client devices. We want them to be thinner, lighter, lower power, lower cost, and higher performance. Magical. Well, that's exactly the needs that the OEMs are looking for as well, as they think about what do they need from their partners and their suppliers. So Western Digital has been leading innovation in this space in a new class of client SSD drives. Those SSD drives are based on a DRAM-less architecture. Western Digital engineers worked to optimize our ASIC, our firmware, our software, and NAND to be able to design client SSD drives that didn't require DRAM. That's wonderful for the marketplace because DRAM is power hungry, space hungry, and expensive. The SN520 was the first result of that innovation. That resulted in a new client SSD drive, including new form factors you can see here. We then took that base technology and introduced a no-compromise performance version. So now the DRAM-less architecture can serve a wide range of mainstream as well as value-oriented client SSD applications. We did that by leveraging the client DRAM architecture itself, the DRAM that's already present on your client device, really to close that gap between DRAM and DRAM-less client architectures. What's the result? The result is the market is now shifting completely to DRAM-less for the value in the mainstream segments. That's over 80% of the TAM. And we're seeing all of the other flash vendors follow Western Digital in this innovation that we've led for the industry. Now, there's another part of the client market that's really exciting, which is the gaming market. Now, I'm not sure if all of you in the audience today are gamers, but I bet a bunch of you are, because there are a lot of gamers in the world, and gaming is a very big market and very important industry. And gamers care a lot about performance, they care about experience, they care about the capability. The core of our gaming strategy has been WD Black. WD Black is a high-performance client SSD solution for gamers. Now, the trick here was how we got there. We didn't take our consumer device and supercharge it. What we did is we took our enterprise class technology and we brought it to the gaming market. Speed, performance, scale, and developing special software features that allow those games run faster and better and generate better experiences. This has been an exciting space where we've been able to bring together our relationships, not just with console vendors, but also with PC makers, directly out to the end users, with gaming studios, with gaming influencers. It's really built a complete ecosystem around this gaming idea. I'd like to go to video here so you can hear directly from two gaming industry leaders about the role Western Digital is playing in the gaming market. Jeff Keighley is CEO and founder of the Game Awards, viewed by millions of people every year, and an industry influencer in gaming. Brandon Snow, SVP Partnerships, Activision Blizzard, responsible driving partnerships from a game developer standpoint. Let's hear what they have to say. Welcome, Jeff and Brandon. Thanks for joining me today.
Great to be here.
Thank you for having us.
Hey, Jeff, I'd like to start with you. Clearly, Flash has taken the gaming world by storm. What's happened here to make this piece of technology have such a big impact on gamers and gaming?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Games get bigger, more complicated, more data in them than ever before. As Brandon knows, when the size of Call of Duty is not is quite large on your drive right now if you have it. But the thing that I think has happened over the past few years is that the graphics, the fidelity of these worlds has gotten better and better. And Flash specifically has become really, really important. The speed to access these rich worlds, you really need it. I mean, the new PlayStation and Xbox, both have SSDs inside of them. SSD is the standard now on PCs, certainly for gaming. And what we found is that you need that speed if you really want to step into these rich worlds that these games are building.
And you mentioned WD Black. I think for most of the casual users have used SanDisk and WD storage for a long time, but we've done something a little bit different here for gaming. What role do you see WD playing really in this gaming ecosystem?
WD Black, it's been incredible what you guys have done for the category across so many different products. And the thing that I love about WD Black is that it's customized for gaming, but it's also very innovative with some of the work you guys have done And I think with WD Black, it's a clear, simple promise to gamers that this is the storage solution you need for gaming.
Well, I think for every demanding gamer out there, there's a demanding game developer.
Yes.
So we're really always all working for you, Brandon. What does this all mean for the game development community?
Well, it's critical. Jeff hit the nail on the head. The average sort of high fidelity video game these days is taking up over 100 gig. And with the advent of 4K, with the advent of sort of live service games, as we have with the Call of Duty franchise and Warzone, you need to be able to have a tremendous amount of storage, but also speed and access to the game quickly. I've read the other day where in the old sort of the PS and the Xbox Ones, PS4s, one game can take up 25-30% of storage capacity. And so to Jeff's point, people aren't deleting these games. These are live services games that you're playing over and over and over again. And developers like us are adding more and more content continually, right? And so now you're in a world where you want to access those games, you want to access them quicker. You're not deleting games, and you're now playing multiple games that are taking up hundreds of gigabytes of storage. And so products like WD Black are critical to how gamers will have the ability to access these large scale games with high graphics, high density, and be able to play many of them in a very quick pace and not have to wait hours for these things to load.
Now you have global responsibility for partnerships. What's made Western Digital a good partner in this case?
Well, first and foremost, we look at finding brands that are going to continue to sort of partner with us and elevate the way our partnerships work together. We want high quality brands that deliver high quality products. When you look at the titles that we have, these AAA titles, of which Call of Duty is one of them, but there are many others. It's important that we find brands that we believe sort of fit together with both from a brand perspective, an elevation of the brand, but also deliver a real benefit to our fans, right? And so without a doubt, this combination of sort of Activision Blizzard, the Call of Duty franchise, and WD Black, I mean, they make tremendous amount of sense, both from a brand elevation standpoint, but also just in what your product does in helping our product be successful with our customer base and with our fans. And so clearly a no-brainer from our perspective, and so far so good. It's off to a great start, and we're looking forward to a really long-term partnership with you.
That's great. And so, Jeff, let me come back to you. What do you really see the future holding in this space? What should we look forward to?
For the gaming audience, for the size and scope of these games, we're actually going to need more storage than ever before, and we're going to need it quick with the power of SSD, flash, being able to access these worlds instantly. I think one of the best quality of life improvements on the new gaming consoles, the new PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, is how quickly a game loads. And anyone that's had a console over the years sometimes knows it. You load up a game, it can take sometimes 2 or 3 minutes to load from when you click the button to you're actually inside the game. Now we're seeing games where the load times are sometimes as short as 10 or 15 seconds. And that simple quality of life improvement is really thanks to flash and the memory bandwidth to get all that data to the screen as quickly as possible. And we're going to see more of that in the coming years.
All right, guys, thanks so much for joining me, both Brandon and Jeff. You're doing awesome work in the gaming industry, and I'm really pleased that we've been able to partner and to move technology forward for gaming and game developers.
Thank you for your partnership as well. We enjoy it.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks to Jeff and Brandon for the nice comments. And thank you for the collaboration as we work together to drive the use of flash in the gaming industry. Now today, we're excited to announce an extension to our WD Black family. The WD Black SN750, new device for PC gamers, as well as the WD Black D30 for both Xbox as well as PlayStation. New devices for gamers across PCs and consoles. You can learn more about these devices in today's press release. With that, I hope I've given you a taste of how WD approaches partnerships and innovation. I started my conversation by talking about perspectives and the ability to see the broad market, storage and flash, to get scale in the flash business. But ultimately, it's about these partnerships and how we're innovating to help our customers and their customers drive their businesses forward. And it's not just about commercial partnerships. It's about partnerships that can help humanity, whether they be in science, medicine, research, and discovery. We're thrilled to work with leading innovators all over the world. Finally, I couldn't be more happy to be here at Western Digital driving Flash forward. I'm passionate about the future of Flash and the future of our industry, driving new applications and capabilities, working with you, and driving the future together. Now I'm happy to be joined by my colleague Lynn Cox to shift to Q&A. So you have a chat interface on the tool. You can go ahead and put those questions in. They'll get to Lynn and we can handle them live here. So Lynn.
All right, let's
welcome.
Take this away. Okay, so we have our first question. Let me go ahead and ask you, how does the new WD Black stand out as a product?
WD Black is awesome as a product. We're really thrilled by the response in the gaming community, what you heard from the guys, from Jeff and Brandon. And I think fundamentally it's about how we can take these products and really target them and make sure that they're fit for purpose. In case of gaming, that's about experience and about the features of the game developers. And in each of these markets, it's that focus on who's the end user, what do those end users need, and how can we deliver that experience.
So to dive into that a little more, what has been developed to highlight the product from other products?
Yeah, so gaming is just one application. It's a great vertical for us, but we play in dozens and dozens of verticals. And in each of those areas, we talked about SanDisk Professional today and honing in on that professional studio audience. We talked about the needs for the connected vehicle. So this is fundamentally the focus of our R&D teams, is really developing these applications. And in some cases, we're taking those all the way through with consumer brands and pushing into the market. In other cases, we let our partners do that heavy lifting and really focusing on the core technology.
All right. Let's shift gears a little bit. What can you tell us about the semiconductor shortage?
Yeah, well, for those of in the audience who are our technology partners, we're all well aware that the global semiconductor industry is facing extreme shortages, and that we all expect that to continue out into 2022. I think we're fortunate in that our full stack approach has reduced our dependency on that semiconductor chain, but we're working very, very closely with our technology partners to make sure that we can mitigate their challenges and make sure we don't put anybody in a bad situation.
All right, so you talked a lot today about some of the exciting new segments that are emerging. What is one that stands out for you that you're most excited about for Flash?
Well, I have to say, crypto is where the action is, and to me, it's not so much that crypto is what about crypto, because these trends come and go, but it's really just about how rapid technology is still changing. We're not at the end of this innovation cycle. And if anything, we've seen the innovation cycle really swing from software, SaaS, and cloud. Seems like that's all we could talk about here 2-3 years ago, till now hardware innovation has taken its forefront. Whether it's crypto, whether it's gaming, whether it's the connected vehicle, whether it's consumer tech. So it's just great to see the level of innovation in systems and platforms. In the case of the Chia and IPFS and what's going on in the market today, it's just mind-blowing to see the amount of capacity being consumed, and we're in a great spot to be able to support our partners that are driving these spaces.
All right, so as the leader of our Flash business, what do you think are some of the biggest strengths of our Flash business?
Our Flash business it's an amazing business. I went to Caltech. I'm an engineer. As I've plumbed through the depths of our Flash business, I've found semiconductor people, ASIC, software, platform, systems, just tremendous technology depth, tremendous breadth. At the same time, there are wonderful partnerships, wonderful customer relationships. WD is with 40% of the bits. We're in a position to serve everybody that's interesting across the entire marketplace. So just an amazing set of assets and capabilities.
All right. There were a lot of exciting announcements today, so we dropped a lot of news. Talk to us about SanDisk Pro and why that's interesting.
SanDisk Pro is interesting because it's a content world, right? The world has shifted to this notion of content, and the number of content creators and distributors has just exploded. And so with SanDisk Pro, we're starting to think hard about what is that content workflow? How can we make those lives simpler? How can we make lives better for the content creators? How can we unleash that creativity? And in each step of that way, whether it's that acquisition, manipulation, distribution, archive, it's a bit of a pain today, right? It's even a pain for us to manage, what we do, and just being able to enable those content creators and make their lives better is, I think it's a great mission. And the SanDisk Pro team, I think, has a lot of good ideas in support of that. Excellent.
Pivoting again, can you discuss future roadmaps and density?
Sure. So from a density perspective, let's sort of bifurcate the market. Obviously, in all the segments of the market, we are seeing densities increase. In the data center, it's interesting. That's actually leading to 2 swim lanes. An actual compute swim lane, that's your 1 to 2 terabyte drives, really supporting that server attached, but then the emergence of a more of a high capacity, 8, 16 and beyond terabyte drive serving really the core storage workloads. So we are seeing that sort of bifurcation in the data center. I'd say in a lot of the other segments, capacities up and to the right. We have, we're generating tremendous capacity growth, generation over generation, 30, 40, 50%. So I would expect to see the capacity curves, per device capacity curves continue on that same shape and trajectory we've seen. At the same time, we're also making successful cost reductions so we can drive that capacity at an affordable price and just enable awesome new applications.
All right, we got a question on computational storage. So what are your thoughts on computational storage?
Yeah, to me, computational storage is really just sort of the next logical step here. And what we're doing with ZNS right now is we're trying to connect applications to storage in a more intelligent fashion. Today in an SSD drive, we do a bunch of manipulation to make that drive look like a hard drive. At the same time, the operating system expected a hard drive. So those 2 pieces are kind of wasted work. And by taking those 2 pieces out, we can expose the internals of the drive, and we can generate a much higher performance outcome. That said, you're still taking a bunch of data, moving it from that drive to compute. In many cases, in the compute side, you're actually doing a very small amount of calculation on any given piece of data, and then you're shipping it all back. That's a pretty inefficient way to design a large-scale architecture. And so we see that computational storage as sort of a next logical step. But first, we do need to do this sort of basic replumbing of the I/O stack to support NAND in a more native way. So we see that really coming after this ZNS trend.
Got it. Let me just say it's a good thing you're a technologist, Rob. Next question, QLC. It's a hot topic. What do you think about that?
Right. So QLC, which is the quad level cell technology, right? We're on TLC today. It's going to continue to drive capacity expansion. We are very excited about the BiCS6 announcements we made early this year. We think that is going to be a big node for QLC. And again, as I mentioned, we are seeing in multiple segments this sort of bifurcation of more compute performance-oriented class memory SSDs, as well as more capacity-oriented. Clearly, QLC can fit those more capacity-oriented and less performance-demanding applications, and I think it's going to do it quite well. So. Watch this space, more to come.
All right, we're getting a little more questions on SanDisk Pro, in particular on G-Tech. So is there any status update on G-Tech with regards to being a part of the SanDisk Pro launch?
Yeah, we'll be integrating G-Tech over time into the SanDisk Professional family. G-Tech emerged sort of between kind of consumer and professional as a prosumer and of use by a lot of our professionals. We felt sort of shifting to a more clearly targeted message around the professional and incorporating sort of the G-Tech strategy as well as new products and capabilities was really the right answer for us. So it won't be dramatic or sudden, so you can expect to continue to be able to use your products, but we will be shifting to SanDisk Professional over time.
From a competitive landscape, who do you consider as your main competition?
Well, look, my job is really to carve out a unique role for Western Digital, and I believe we fill a very unique role in the ecosystem. We're the only storage provider with both flash and hard drive. I think we are uniquely focused in our layer of systems innovation on top of the NAND. We're not a semiconductor component vendor. We're not a consumer electronics company. We're pretty unique already in the industry in terms of doing what we do. So like any good technology leader, it's not really about what the competition is doing. It's about what we can do that's sort of unique and focused. And I think this combination of a world-class foundation of NAND with our partner Kioxia, coupled with systems level innovation facing off against the markets, is the right formula for success for WD.
Okay, back to gaming. Will console makers put more SSDs into their devices to expand? What is your thought on that?
Yeah, so it's a good question. I spend a lot of time with folks like Brandon, who are in the business of working with between the console vendors and the game developers, really to optimize those platforms. We think both will happen in that there'll be both a role for the console vendors to continue to drive more capacity and capability. At the same time, the add-in market is going to be important. Obviously, a console maker has to get a price-performance trade-off in any given console. That may not always appeal to the very most demanding gamers, and so that add-in is important. Something that's happening in the gaming market today is that there are more games that are played for a longer amount of time, and so people want to have actually just more storage capability in addition to the performance. So that demand's pretty insatiable. So the products that we launched today, the add-in products for the consoles are important. At the same time, we're going to keep innovating with the console vendors on their unique solutions.
Okay, last question. All right, so you talked a lot today about flash and HDD and the synergies in having those portfolios. So can you talk a little bit more about that and your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I feel that bringing together flash and HDD has just been a super interesting place for the business to be. It has really pulled some of the volatility out of the business. When there are markets that clearly have shifted from HDD to flash, like client, we've done exceptionally well in serving those markets and being able to serve because it's the same customer. At the same time, most of our customers do buy both products from us. That drives a broader relationship, that drives a more interesting conversation, that makes us more strategic to those. So it's been a really good place, particularly from a go-to-market side. Now we do have some tech coming. I'm not going to share it quite yet here. We do have some tech coming. We combine these things in an interesting way. But even today with the GTM synergy, it's just a tremendous benefit to have these capabilities.
All right, I think we're ready to wrap it up.
Okay. Well, thank you again for joining me today. I look forward to meeting a number of you live as we get back to the real world, and I hope to see you then. Bye now.